Hello, everybody. This is Todd with Duct Tape Painter. I'm going to go back to working on this Howard DGA-12. Um, it's really coming along pretty well. We've got all the servos set up. And now we're going to start working on the motor. I'm going to start showing you kind of how I do some things here. Take my advice with a grain of salt. There's, the idea of opinions and certain body parts. We all have them. Do whatever works for you. Um, I just do what I've done for years. I'm not going to say it's the right way. I'm not going to say it's the best way. So I'll just show you. You can go from there. You can point and criticize or whatever you want. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. Um, Actually, I've gotten a lot of good feedback from you guys, and you are greatly appreciated. You don't know how much it means to me that I've started this channel 3 weeks ago. I'm almost up to 250 subscribers in 3 weeks. That really blows me away. Um, I started this not to really gain a lot of following. I did this to kind of get myself motivated. I think I said in another video there, I found out some pretty crazy health issue news in January of this year, and I really didn't do a whole lot. I was pretty motivated, or pretty unmotivated, I should say. I had a lot of parts and pieces and stuff here that needs worked on, and I still do. Um, I just need to get at it, and this is really helping me stay busy. So I do appreciate it. You guys don't know how much I do, how much I do appreciate it. Um, we're going to start working on mounting some engines. Well, at least engine. Going to work on getting that G38 on here with, like I say, it's on ignition, so it doesn't have that big heavy flywheel. I think it's going to work out pretty good. In the manual, they put a 43, I think it was a SPE 43 cc on it. 38 will do well. It's going to stick out a little farther than I like out of the cowl, but being a big radial airplane, I don't think you'll notice a whole lot of that. It's not going to make or break me anyway. I don't have a dummy engine for it. I'm not going to put one in it. Maybe somewhere down the line, I've got some buddies with 3D printers. Maybe I can come up with something and add it later. But for now, we're going to just get her flying, get her finished up. We've got some big bird events coming up this month here in northern Indiana. This is Labor Day, actually. So happy Labor Day to all you guys. I hope you had a good weekend. Looking at next week, there's a big bird fly, giant scale stuff in Fort Wayne, Indiana. So I'm going to try to get to that this weekend. This next weekend, the weekend after that, the Bremen Sky Knights Club is doing a fundraiser for cancer, cancer awareness, breast cancer. One of the guys in the club had a daughter, or has a daughter, I should say. I shouldn't say has a daughter that's going through some stuff. I don't know if she's all the way through all the treatments or not, what's going on, but he did a beautiful glider in tribute to breast cancer. He loves gliders, and it's a beautiful airplane. He does exquisite work on his stuff. His is definitely not duct tape hanger status airplane. His is definitely way nicer than. It's like I was telling the guys today. I said shiny airplanes scare me, and this one's kind of shiny. I like the old beaten and battered and abused airplanes, but with the age of this one being probably at least 20 years old, sitting in a box, it's going to look pretty decent right now, and hopefully stay that way for a while. But this one is still, I still consider this a good budget build. But they're having an event on I think it's the 13th of September. It's going to be the second full weekend in September on Saturday. So if you're in the area, look up the Bremen Sky Knights Club, just south of Bremen, or well, actually just east of Bremen, I should say, just east of Bremen. Look them up. They're on Facebook. You can find them at Bremen Sky Knights. Their page. Fort Wayne Circuits, Flying Circuits is the other one. That's having an event this weekend. And then the weekend after that is Wheeler is having their Big Bird event, and that's the Midwest Sundowners. They're over on the northwestern part of the state, and they're doing a Big Bird event. So if you haven't been to that one, that's another fantastic event to go to. They do their weekend events on the third weekend of every month. Third weekend of every month. So uh, go to that one too if you're in the area. I'm planning on going to all of them. I was thinking there was something going on the last weekend of the month, but I can't remember it right now if there isn't, if there is or isn't. Like I say, look on Facebook at those three clubs. Uh, they're very open clubs, very friendly, nice fields, and Bremen is a new field. They've done a fantastic job of putting the field in. This is the second year that they've had it. The club was started in the late '60s, established in 1968. My dad was actually one of the founding fathers of it. Founding members, I guess I shouldn't say founding fathers, but you know what I mean. Founding members. There's one founding member left, still alive and going, and he's still a member of the club. So he's been with it. You know, you're pushing almost 60 years now, and he's been a member. So my dad passed away in 2008. He got me flying. He got me into all this stuff, and I kind of got him back in it. I did a story a while back ago telling how I kind of got back into flying, how I got into it, and how I got him back into it. But long story short, went to a fly-in, loved every bit of it, said, why am I not doing this? And went out and bought new radios and new equipment, new engines, and got it for my dad and me. And next thing you know, I've been flying. I've been flying pretty much ever since, till I went through a divorce in 2010. I sold off about everything, got back in it in 2018, and been flying pretty steady since. So long story short on that one, but I love seeing the father and son stuff out there. I've met a few guys this weekend, father and sons. Um, it's great. It makes me brings back a lot of memories for me. You know, that was something that my dad and I really bonded over, and I love to see it. Love to see it. But all right, enough rambling for now. I'm going to readjust this camera, and then we'll work on showing you what I'm going to do. All right, guys, this is my G38. I'll get some of this mess out of the way. I sold my big 42% extra this weekend. Met a couple wonderful guys from North Carolina that came all the way up to Indiana and picked it up. They were super satisfied. They were happy with it. I use fishing line here, and I run that through all the surfaces when I pull the servos. That way it makes them a lot easier. It makes it a lot easier for them to thread everything back up and get it ready to go. All right. Get that out of the way. Get this stuff out of the way here. I went through my junk mail, and I found this nice little, it's heavier board. I don't know if you can hear that or not, but it's heavier board. This way I can trace out my pattern of that cup mount. This is a B&B Specialties cup mount for the G38. It does not have a spring starter since it's electronic ignition. This is a smoke nipple that uses crankcase pressure to run a smoke. I will have to put a cap over that. This is obviously a smoke muffler as well. We're not going to be running smoke on it. It does have the turned carb block, so I can get decent line on here on the throttle. And like I say, it does have an ignition system on it. I think this one is from, well, it's got a RCXL CDI ignition. So we're going to run that on there, but it still uses the standard B&B Bennett's cup mount for the mount. So what I like to do is I'm going to put that on there, kind of center it up there where I got some room around it. There, I think you can get a good look at it. Let me get you down there a little closer. Let me see if I can get you lined up here a little better where you can really get a good look at it. Keep my old work shoes out of the view here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use one of these pens. I like these nice fine point pens. And and unscrew this. I'm going to kind of trace this here a little bit. It don't have to be perfect by any means. Gives me an idea where I'm centered up on. I really don't need to do this. I'll show you why here in a minute, but I still kind of do it to see if I'm kind of centered up. So now on the bottom, it kind of stuck to it, so that works out. Oh, well, it did. When I get those lined up, like I say, it isn't going to matter. It doesn't have to be perfect. But when I flip this over, there is going to be 4 spots here where those bolt holes are. And I better use an X-Acto. Let me grab my X-Acto. That'd be better than trying to push that pen through that heavy board. And I mess up screwing up my pen. Let me find my X-Acto. I'm going to bring you guys back up here a little higher. Like this. Oop, I got charge cord hooked up to this thing at the same time, so I'm charging it. It just kills my phone. Oop. Sorry, guys. All right. So I set that on there like that. Make sure I'm covering all the sides, because I'm going to need a little bit sticking out on each side. So this way I can center it up to my crosshatch lines on the firewall there. So we know there's going to be, let's see here, it's going to be about here. There's one of our bolt holes. So I've learned to do this too and save you a little bit of trouble. I've got some bolts sitting here. 1/4-20s is what threads into those cups. We're going to clean this up a little bit. And run that 1/4-20 in there. And we're going to hand thread that into here. Just enough to kind of hold it. Now we can do the others. I'm trying to do this on, let's see here. That looks about right. So there's our other one. And this will give us our drill guide when it's time to put these bolts in through the firewall. And this is what I use to line up everything. And I square it. This is how I square everything. Just kind of clean that up a little bit. Like I say, it don't have to be completely perfect, because you're going to drill right through it anyway. You're going to mark it and drill. But this way, and there's that one. So you really don't have to do the other, you don't have to put a bolt in the other two, but that keeps that from moving. And you see, well, my little tracing didn't work out. But you see how I got a little bit of tab on each side here? That's going to come in handy. And I'll show you here in a minute why. So I'm going to do the same thing on these others. There's that one. There's that one. So I've done a lot of these cup mounts in the past, and I know these are 2 1/4 apart. It's a 2 1/4 square all the way around. I've done a lot of those over the years. I'm going to take these, kind of push through, and kind of clean up those other 2 holes. So there's our holes. So we're going to have the front side. Yeah, get that motor out of the way. This is where you're going to need a nice Nice little ruler. I use this one all the time. I like using it because it has this nice little notch in here. I can run it either way. It's an 18-inch. Um, I think I bought this at a swap. So we know this is the top because that's what we had on the back, and it was right side up on the back. The print was right side up on the back when I was doing the back side. So I know that's the top. So I know these are 2 1/4 apart, or 2 1/4 apart, and you can see from the center of the hole to here, 2 1/4. So we know 1 1/8 is our center. So we got our center line here. Going to do the same thing down here. Center of the hole, center of the hole, 1 1/8, and it's the same thing here on the sides. 2 1/4, 2 1/4, 1 1/8, 1 1/8. All right. This is where your center lines are going to matter. Oh, let me see. Am I off a little bit on that one? No, that looks good. Looks like it's crooked. Oh, it is. Okay. No, I'm close. I'm close there. So what you do, go right through those lines. And you're going to go right through these lines. Right outside the edge. So now you got your squared lines, and I'm going to show you what we're going to do with that next. All right, now looking at the firewall, we have our lines. And that's how we're going to square it. But I'll put a piece of tape on it. When I get her squared up, I can't hardly do this with the camera in the way, and I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done here. All right, I use a little piece of clear tape. I'm starting to realize I call this duct tape hanger, and I don't think I've used duct tape yet once on anything. But use a little piece of clear tape, and that gets us pretty nice and square. There's our template for our drill guide. So once again, I take that pen, get in here. And they're not going to be perfectly, you're not going to be perfectly round, perfectly. I usually oversize those just a hair and run washers. That way, if you don't get them perfectly square, it'll still bolt up and do all right on the firewall. We're running into one other problem with this firewall. And I'm going to bring you over here at an angle where you can see the bottom part of this cowl. Or not cowl, but the firewall. See that ring? Let me get you turned down here a little bit. See this ring here? This here? We're going to run into some problems here. Rear muffler. So we set this up here like that. We can make lines here to know how far out we're going to have to grind this away. And I'll probably use a Dremel and cut it. Use a cutting disc. Usually that's my favorite. This is not super heavy ply, so I'm not worried about that. It should cut pretty easily, but that'll get us in there and get that where I can get that muffler back in there nice and straight too. But I'm going to drill these first, and I'm going to go just over 1/4 and drill them. So our jig is in, and we'll go from there. All right, guys, there's our mounting holes. I think that'll work out pretty good. They're nice and square. They look good. We're definitely going to get that engine mounted relatively quickly. Another little trick I've learned, because you get a lot of sawdust. I just had pizza tonight. Had an empty pizza box here. And it'll catch, you set that down on the table, you're going to throw it away anyway. You might as well let it catch some of your wood shavings. I don't have a shop vac in here. Wish I did. It'd be a lot handier. But I use with what I got. And some nice greasy garlic knot box worked pretty good. So it'll get some more in it. Now our next thing is going to be, I'm going to make a couple lines here. One here where this is going to mount. Where this is going to mount on there. So grab my engine. Grab that. Like I say, we're going to go a little wider than the muffler anyway. I don't want to have any issues. Plus with these bolts out here, we're not going to have any problem. There's none on the bottom. Oop. So if I make a line there, I'm going to get out here. I don't want that heat getting to anything. So I think if we go in that area, that'll keep us pretty close where we don't cut off too much, but far enough away we don't get heat coming off that muffler and try to oil soak any of that. So we should be good there. So I'm going to go ahead and work on that a little bit. I'm just going to take a Dremel. I'm going to cut into here and rough cut it, and just work my way back to it. And you know what? I might use a little hand saw. Ooh, I don't want to get too far under here because when we put this ring on, see, it doesn't cover any of that. It doesn't cover any of this stuff down here, so it's going to be open. Plus the whole head will be sticking out under here anyway. We're going to have should have plenty of airflow coming through. You want to have plenty going out. So you don't want to get an engine hot for no reason, especially for something basic like that. But I'll get in here. I'll start cutting a little bit. We'll see what we can get up to. All right, guys. I got that ground away. Tried cutting it with the Dremel and just ended up taking a sanding disc on the front of it and ground it down. I think that'll do it. I'm going to clean all this up, shave all this covering, because you know how that's going to go. It's going to end up start peeling, getting wind behind it. I will take epoxy, and I'm going to epoxy over this stuff and seal it. But that will give us all the room we need for that muffler. See if you can see it here. See if you can see in there. That gave us all we needed. So that will get us clear on that motor. So I don't know how much more I'm going to do right now. Kind of getting late. Got to work tomorrow. Might work on it a little bit more. Might get that engine bolted up. You've seen me bolt up engines in other videos, so you don't need to sit there and watch me do this again. There's nothing to it. I'm going to take some 1/4-20s, some nice wide washers, run them through there, bolt her up. But first, we're going to coat some of this with some 5-minute, just to seal that up from any kind of oil, anything we can get in there. You don't want to get it in any of that. I ate enough dust. Sawdust there doing that. I've been sneezing and coughing, so you know you're doing well when you end up like that. So we'll see if we get another update. But if not for now, I think I'll call it good for the moment. We'll work on it some more. I might do another video as I go on. I'm trying to not make these too long. This is already going on 24 minutes. I don't want to try and bore you guys too much here. Trying to keep it entertaining and not beat all this small detail over your head all the time. Tell me about some of your builds that you're working on. I've heard from some of you guys. Some of you guys are car guys. Some of you guys are working on stuff. Some of you guys have reached out with the P40 crashing and said that they're glad it's not just happening to them. And no, it will not just be you. When we fly, we crash. It's going to be part of the game. Just got to keep going. Can't quit. Can't let it win. You got plenty of time to get something going and fly again. You got plenty of projects. Keep them going. Set it to the side. It's going to frustrate you for now, like it does for me. I'll come back to it. We'll be good again. But all right, guys. Well, I appreciate you all. And I'm really looking forward to getting this one done. I think it's a beautiful airplane. I love that 30s design. and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. All right. Thanks, guys.